I'm shaking. I don't even know where to start. This is probably not even going to be in focus really well, but it's about as much as I can handle. I really didn't think that I would be like this nervous about it, because I've been talking about mental health issues and stuff for a really long time. But OCD has not kicked my ass this hard in about 25 years. And the only real reason why I'm here, like making this video, is because I promised it to the people on my Facebook. The people that I've gone to school with, the people that have known me my entire life. Because I posted something probably like before Christmas. Just about, there's this one incident where, because I've moved, I have a new apartment and happy about that. Actually, no complaints. But to get from my living room to my bedroom, I have to go this way and then turn and then that way. So that's 3 right turns, and I couldn't equal out the left turns enough to go straight into my bedroom. And I just sat there and I cried. And I just kind of mentioned that because by the time I mentioned that on my Facebook, I like moved past a little bit. And people were just like, what? Like, is that really what it is? Because there's so much stuff out there with like TikTok and Reels and all that kind of stuff, where there's all these videos, like there's all those like satisfying videos where people like line things up and they stock their fridge and they stock their bathroom and the pantry and all that kind of whatnot. And I know for some people it like itches, some like brain itch or whatever, they're interesting. But that is not OCD at all. Sorry, I'm just shaking. I'm shaking like a leaf. My ears bother me because I just have so much like anxiety, and your whole body just like reacts to everything. Because again, OCD is not wanting to put things in order. And I'm seeing a lot of, those videos, because they just exist. People will post, and the shock factor to get people to watch the videos, because TikTok has a lot of money to be given out. But the people that are like, oh my gosh, my OCD could never. And it's like a video of like this, square or something in like a round cup holder or something like that. Again, not OCD. Most probably an ADHD thing, or maybe like an autism thing. There's a whole lot more, like they overlap more. And in the past like 15 years or so, there's been more and more like studies, more and more things that they're realizing that a lot of the mental illnesses like overlap each other, except OCD, because it's got nothing to do with lining things up. I just saw this post this morning on Instagram, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So you're probably like, if you're just here because you've never seen this or heard of me before, I am 43 years old. I was diagnosed with OCD in 8th grade, but I was also born mentally ill. And in the 1980s, they didn't fucking know shit. So, whatever, I'm not mad about that part. But it does really bother me, though, that in like 2026, there's still those, like, not misinformation stuff, because again, it's all for clicks and views and whatnot. So before I really totally explain the difference between, like just wanting to line things up, which is a STEM thing, by the way. It helps you control the environment, and intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts are fucking horrible, okay? I mean, some people, it's to that point. It's not just like, oh, that makes my brain happy that it's in order. Some people will have to like walk up to it and push it back into place so that they can feel better and leave. That sucks. Like, I'm not trying to take away from other people's experiences. It's just, I don't think OCD is talked about enough. And I've tried to talk about it, like, on this platform before, but I was never in the thralls of it like I am now. I had actually kind of forgotten how hardcore of an anxiety disorder it is, because OCD is a fear-based mental illness. And it is based on illogical fears that make no sense at all. Theoretically, we know that it's stupid. We know that doesn't make any sense. But the fear is still there, and it overtakes your life. So this is this post, and it says, like, OCD things I did as a child. And if I read the thing, it's like, was I the only kid doing this? And no. But I don't know if it's as common as people claim it to be, but from what I'm seeing other people referring OCD as, that's not it. And I'm in the middle of it. Well, actually, I'm near the end of it. We'll tell the story, because that's what I promised my friends on Facebook. So this person wrote many different little things that were happening as a child. So he said that one of the things that he would do as a child was, like, not to look out the window when it would be dark, because it felt like something might see me, and then they would know where I lived, and they would kill my entire family. Yeah, that's OCD. Those are those fears. They're illogical fears. We know that doesn't make any sense. And it revolves around people that we love or ourselves dying. Or people that we love or ourselves having, like, just, okay, gotta get this out of there. My OCD part, illogical fears, are that my limbs are gonna fall off my body. Now, can that happen? No. It, does my brain know that? Part of it, but then the OCD goes, yeah, but, are you sure? Like, just, my head imagines this, and it's been imagining this since I was a kid. So before, like, The Walking Dead and stuff was on TV, I'm just gonna, like, look over, and my arm's gonna, like, slop off. And it's just gone. Or my other way. And again, if anybody knows me or follows me on anything, I've been doing really, really well with that, to the point that I forgot just how, yeah, the fan's on, just how overwhelming and it overtakes your entire life until it kind of hit me again. So another thing that this kid, or probably an adult now, posted about things they did as a child that they're linking to OCD now, as they were holding their stuffed animal tight, because if they didn't, we would all get sick and die. And it would be my fault for not being nice to Billy. So Billy was the name of their stuffed animal. Legit, that's what goes through some people's heads. Another thing they said they did is holding my breath when I had a bad thought, because breathing felt like those awful fucked up thoughts would become real. That is one that I struggle with. I got up early this morning to watch the hockey game, and we lost. Maybe that's why I'm so, like, shaky. Even though, okay, I know it, I can't control the weather. But it was the same thing, like, when the Blue Jays were going for the World Series. Every time I would listen or watch the game, they would lose. And I just have this thing. Every time that something's important, when I pay attention to it, we lose. That doesn't logically make sense. I don't control that. I'm a human, okay? There's an episode of X-Files, because I've been watching them lately, where this person kind of controls weather with their emotions. It's a TV show. I know that. But the other part of my brain is like, are you sure? Are you sure? And it's a battle between each side of your brain all the time. I'm hearing my cat. She's playing over there. She has been bringing me her emotional support toys for, like, the past hour. So obviously she can sense that I'm pretty upset. I do really hope that this does come out okay as a video, because I can't really, like, see. My eyes aren't the best, and I just kind of put everything together because I was up on time. And I think I could put my thoughts in the row that they're supposed to be in. But I'm going to try because, again, I've been pushing this off for a while now. And I don't even know, like, where to start on all of it. Except, I think it started when I dislocated my kneecap. I was doing a puzzle, crisscross applesauce. I went forward to put a piece, my leg went under. I had to go to the hospital. And they didn't believe me. They treated me as a mentally ill person. We have tried to make a complaint. It didn't work. They just said, nah, it didn't happen. So not only did, they make me wait till they saw every other person in the waiting room, they brought me out to the room where, like, the psych eval room, where they had, like, the chairs, like, the big, comfy leather chairs, and the doctor, like, sits down, and he's just... Anyway, so they have to move all the couches out of the way and to examine my leg, and they told me I was fine. Sent me home. Then I went to my doctor, my family doctor, about 5 days later, and she was like, yeah, what did the orthopedic surgeon say? What? So, yeah. They sent me home, and again, it's a limb. The fact that the hospital doesn't believe me to do shit is what we're figuring is what made it worse. Because sometimes it creeps around a little bit, but it happened. I can't change that it happened. I can't do anything for that hospital because, they don't give a crap. However, the other hospital has been helping me out a lot. I did eventually see the orthopedic surgeon. I almost needed surgery, but didn't because I had physio and I did all that kind of stuff. And it was during the physio appointment that my mom pointed it out that, like, it's been creeping back. So now I was doing, like, the exercises for my leg. And I'd been at physio by then, 6-7 months. And every time I would do an exercise with one leg, I'd have to do it with the other one. Which can't hurt. But I had to. And my mom being, my mom, and have seen me go through a lot of things over time in my life, was like, are you okay? Like, have you talked about this to your doctor? So I did. I mentioned it to my doctor, and we changed the medication, and after a while we had to get this really hardcore medication because OCD, you can't, like, mind over matter it when it gets to the point where I was, and I'm going to explain it. And it's not to make anybody feel bad. Again, it's just education-wise, and also for, again, the people that were just wondering, people that have known me my entire life, that, are like, I thought you were doing, like, so much better. And I was, until this kind of came along. Because I went through all of what I'm about to tell you alone, by myself. I have, like, cat fur on my face because she cuddles a lot. I had reached out to, like, a few friends to kind of talk about things because, it overtook my entire life, and I changed because I was terrified 24/7 of things I knew made no sense, okay? My arms are gonna fall off. I'm also extremely afraid of fire. I have no idea where I was in my train of thought because my cat just shoved herself behind the TV. She knows that gets her attention. And that does bring up my anxiety because my other huge fear that I have always talked about is that I am afraid of fire. Since I can remember, or not since I can remember, I can remember a nightmare that I had when I was about 4, like, vividly to this day, about, like, the apartment being on fire, and I look out my window and this beach ball would, like, roll down the thing. So fire is also a huge thing. So it was doing things with one side of my body that I had to do with the other side, and they had to even themselves out. But it also has to do with things spontaneously catching on fire. And having, like, gone to college and studied, like, electronics and stuff, how things, could, maybe, it didn't help, all right? I didn't, well, yeah, it did. I mean, I don't know. It's so hard to explain. Because it changes how you react to things. It changes your entire life. And that's why it's disruptive. And it's not just, oh, my OCD could never, because you need to have like the tiles all in the same row. It's fear, and you're so scared of everything that none of you functions properly. So I tried to like reach out to the people that were really close to me, my friends, because I wanted to keep my friendships and just, look, this is the shit that I'm going through right now. And they were all busy. They all literally said no. They didn't have time. They didn't have time to 5 minutes. They didn't have time for anything. And another friend of mine who, they're just always online. They're sitting in front of the computer all day, watching TV. And I said something, you respond like every 2 weeks or so. And they got mad at me saying that it was so unfair of me to ask because they're going through something. And I just went, okay. And just walked away and went through the hardest parts of all of this by myself. I had support because I actually applied for MAID. And a lot of people who really get deep into the OCD part, some people do end up not being here anymore. Because it is a lot to go through. It's overwhelming fear. It takes over your entire life. And we can't explain it to people because it does not make sense. So when my mental health team saw the application and all that whatnot, they got together and I have more therapy hours. I have more of this. So they did what they could and very thankful. Very, very thankful. Because about that time, like I'll explain like how it felt in a minute, because that's kind of the point. Because again, I can tell you the things I did, but I'm gonna try to, because that's what people want to know. They want to know like how does it feel. So I'm gonna try to explain it. But it was at a point where, I only still have one working burner on my stove. There's one working burner and that's it. The other one's not plugged in. And so afraid of the fire and everything catching on fire, I would check like all the plugs. I would go to bed at night and I would unplug everything in my apartment just in case. To the point that even like my stove, I unplugged my stove and flipped the breaker at night. So when I was at that point and I had an appointment with my psychiatrist, and she already like changed my medications a little bit, because when it comes to OCD, they need like a higher dose and it takes longer to kick in. But at this point, it was also the same point where I was trying to go from my bedroom, my living room to my bedroom. And again, it's 3 right turns and I needed to even them out because I just couldn't. My feet were not going to go more into my bedroom, even though my brain was like, there's no danger. Stranger danger, there's none. You're standing in your own apartment. My feet wouldn't move until I equaled out my left turns, but then I could not be straight into, and you can't just do 2 turns, it's got to be equal. It has to be the same thing. Like even now, I didn't get to really enjoy the Olympics because everybody, like the ice skating, they're all turning the same way, and my brain's like, okay, but you need to unwind it. And I just wouldn't. So I just looked at the medal count. But the day that, I just kept turning and I was tired and I was in pain because my knee still hurts a heck of a whole lot. My back's all fucked up from getting crushed. I just sat on the floor and I cried. Like, soul-crushing tears. So when I went to my doctor about that, she gave me like a medication that was, I mean, it was a higher dose. It made me high as fuck. I didn't like it. It was not fun. I understand some people like being, no. But we needed to like get my brain out of that just one-way path. It's like my brain had like a train track and I was stuck on it. It was like, well, if you pass all of these gates, you can get to the next thing. And part of my brain was like, hey, just go around it. But then the train track was like, no, doesn't work. So we had to like hard reset everything. To the point that I don't think I made sense for a bit. But it was what it was. I have explained again that it's a fear-based thing. And it's, again, disruptive. I know that a lot of people that have probably seen it in the movies or in the TV shows, people flip like their light switch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. All right, that's annoying, and it overtakes your life for sure. And if you don't get the help at that point, it's gonna get further and further and further. Because I'm sure you've all seen those videos or whatever of like the people that wash their hands, and they'll wash their hands like raw, like their skin is blistering, and it hurts. But you gotta do it, because if you don't do it, you're going to die. Here is my battle with my stove every single night for like 2 months until it got really, really bad. And, you know, my doctor got me high to get me out of it. Again, I'm afraid of fire. I moved into this apartment in April, I think. And I've never turned the oven on. Anybody who knows me knows I don't use the oven. I have a toaster oven because I'm afraid of the actual oven. And even whoever that lived here before, they scrubbed all the numbers off. Like, there's no numbers temperature-wise for my oven button. So I have never turned it on. However, couldn't go to bed till I was checking to make sure that it was off. Now, this is me that's going to try to explain what it feels like to be in like the depths of the OCD part and how your brain fights itself. Because again, we know it doesn't make any sense. I know my arms aren't going to fall off. I also know that I turned my fucking oven off. I turned it off because I never fucking turned it on to begin with. But does my other part of my, maybe, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, but maybe not. Yes. And all of this happens in like half a second. Because you've had these thoughts back and forth. Because it gradually builds. So you're touching the button. This could be the same thing for the people that like have to make sure that all their locks are locked in their house. I just saw what I look like, so I'm going to try to make the color a little bit better, because I forgot that the camera only records for half an hour at a time. And there's the cat. What I was trying to get to before the camera died is that at one point I was really considering giving my cat away, because she needs the attention all the time. I mean, she's a spoiled cat. I got her in the middle of COVID. I'm home all the time with her. And I couldn't play with her. I couldn't. I was just stuck in the don't die loop all of the time. So, again, I don't know, like, where things stopped recording, so she's playing, which is good. Go back to the point where everybody experiences anxiety. It's real. It exists. The scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being like, this is it, I am dying, doesn't change. Just because you can see somebody else talk about an experience and be like, I had to go to the hospital, that was it. And you might look at that and be like, oh, that's not that bad. It is to them. That scale does not change. And we can only experience and we can only understand other people's experience to what we have experienced. So that's why gonna try to explain how it feels using, okay, I can't find the word. It's not synonym. Idioms? Anyway, examples. So maybe you can understand what it's like. And again, not to shit on anybody, not to make anybody feel bad or anything like that. They just were busy with other things, and I'm actually doing really, really well. Again, I didn't talk to anybody. I dealt with this. I dealt with it all by myself in my home with, help with my therapist and medications and whatnot. And honestly, holiday season wise, it's the best one that I've had in I don't know how long. I actually had a Christmas tree up that I was excited about. I was excited about it the entire Christmas season. And as much as the anxiety and the OCD thing was kind of lifting, depression is a whole different thing. It's not, it's OCD is its own little monster, and I'm gonna try. As I've said in the beginning that it really revolves around the stove and all that whatnot, and also repeating the patterns on one side or the other. So around, I don't know, May-ish, about that, as when the physiotherapy was just, it was good. My leg was stronger enough, but also I wanted to end it because every time I had to do an exercise with one leg, I had to do with the other. And it was really starting to take over my life. If I was stirring something on the stove for food, I'd have to start with my other hand, and then that one, and then that one, and then same thing for brushing my teeth. Brush with one, brush with the other, do this, brush. And it just took up 3/4 of my day. And then I realized that I was just standing at the fucking stove for hours. And I know it's hours because your stove has a freaking little clock on it. It tells you what goddamn fucking time it is. So not just the stirring part, those I can count. But even at that, after a while, your brain's are you sure that's the count? Did you miss a number? I'm 43 years old. I can fucking count to 10. Easily. I've been counting to 10 since I was 4. I don't know. And then my brain's are you sure you didn't miss 7 twice? I also have a really uneasy feeling with the number 5. So the whole year of 2025 was rough, but that's actually just peanuts compared to everything else. Biggest thing was me standing there for hours. And like I said, the both sides of your brain, it makes no sense. You're looking at your oven. My brain is I haven't turned the thing on ever. Then I went in and then I took out the elements so they can't catch on. They can't turn on. They're no longer hooked up. That still didn't work. It worked for a little bit. So you're standing there and you gotta touch it. Again, the same thing that people need to make sure their doors are shut. So you're touching it. And the anxiety is there. So it builds from the bottom up. That's my mom. Got interrupted again, which is fine because my mom can interrupt me at any time. She was there for me through this whole thing. Again, nobody else was. And I need to stop bringing that up because I'm not trying to make people feel bad. I don't even think they're going to watch any of this anyway because they honestly didn't care. They didn't care anymore. And that was it. So when it comes down to me and the fucking stove, the anxiety that comes up, right? You're I turned it off and you go to leave. And it builds, again, from the inside out and the bottom up. I'm trying to explain how it comes up. And the best that I can really get into is, when you have the stomach flu? Most of us got to stay home and watch Crisis, right? And you're just laying there. You finally start to feel a little bit better, and you're like, okay, I need to like sit more comfortably. And you move a little bit, and it just goes, and it just comes all out again. You can feel it. It's that feeling, like you feel you're gonna throw up, obviously. But it's fear, and your body almost vibrates from fear, and kind of starts around like your knees and your stomach at the same time, and then that meets, and then it just goes out. And your whole body is literally paralyzed with fear. You can't move. I can tell my feet, this is stupid. You have checked this for the past 20 minutes. You've taken a photo to make sure that it's off. You've taken the elements out of the oven. You've unplugged the fucking oven. There's no electricity going to it. Move your feet, go to bed, because you've been standing here for an hour and a half. And my feet are like, nope. Because my brain's like, yeah, but maybe, residual stuff. And you just go over it. And you would think, like by touching to make sure that, you've checked the buttons off, that you can breathe, right? No. It calms down a little bit. And just when it's about to calm down, for you to be able to take a breath, it comes back. And then your brain's like, are you sure? And you're like, yes, I have looked. Yeah, but really? Did you miss something? Are you sure that you unplugged that? Maybe it was yesterday that you unplugged it. You're like, no, I'm looking at it. It is not. Yeah, but maybe something stayed in there. Maybe the walls are on fire. That went. So then I had to go to the rest of my apartment and unplug. The cat's going crazy. To unplug everything I owned. I had to go unplug everything in my house. Everything on this desk, the TV, the router, the couch, everything. Except for the fridge, obviously, and the deep freeze. And I would get up and I would check the wall and touch the wall. Is it warm? Is it... I did that again for about 2 weeks every night. I didn't sleep. I couldn't eat. Because I couldn't cook anything. And that's the other reason why I gained so much weight over the past 3 months. Which I'm okay with. Because I survived. I made it through. I made it through something that I didn't think I was going to. I applied for the medical assisted made because I just couldn't do it. I wasn't eating. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't speak to people. Nothing was coming out of my mouth correctly. Everything was backwards. I had nobody to talk to about it because they were just all busy. And I just couldn't do it anymore. My body was just so exhausted and so tired of it all that, again, everybody got together and I got just more therapy, more hours, and then my doctor was like, okay, we've got to go in with this medication, and it's just going to hard reset your brain. I still have like some issues that I got to work through with therapy, but the therapy is you had to like do that reset in order for the therapy to be able to work, because otherwise, again, I was just stuck there, looking at the things. And again, I've taken pictures with my phone so I can go to bed and be like, I can look at it, that it's not on. And then even the other part of my brain is like, well, are you sure that's a picture from today? It's time-stamped, of course it's there. And then the whole part of things that make no sense because I'm mentally ill, not crazy. That other part of my brain is like, well, are you sure you're looking at this correctly? Because, your eyes aren't the best. And it's exhausting. You do that over and over again. Where the compulsion is supposed to lower that fear. Because your brain is like, the only thing that you can do to make this overwhelming, body paralyzing fear that you're experiencing is to do the thing. For me, it's certain things, and for other people, that may be washing their hands, flickering the lights, holding your teddy bear really tight, repeating a mantra over and over again. It doesn't matter. Count to 15. I don't know. Actually, those ones are horrible. Those ones are horrible because, again, I've had to, count the times I was storing stuff. Then you start to doubt yourself. People who repeat mantras or numbers all day, we know how to count to 10. Then you get to 10 and you're like, yeah, but did you skip 7? Are you sure you said that one right? Then you're fucked up. Then you gotta start all over again. And this anxiety just builds where you feel like you're going to pass out. Your legs can't hold you up anymore. You're gonna throw up. My limbs were gonna fucking fall off. To the point that I don't have my hand braces on now. But I couldn't even type to talk to people. Which is why I kind of talk, in real life, but whatever. My hands hurt. I get to the point that I can't even feel my fingers. I shake my hands a lot, and I have hand braces, different things, and I know there's nothing wrong with my hands more than that. I've had all the tests done. I've gone to the hospital over the past 10, 15 years, and they've done it, the whole measuring the signal from everywhere. I don't have any nerve damage at all. I have connective tissue issues with the autoimmune disorders that I have, but the pain and the fact that my fingers just don't work and I can't feel it anymore is all in my head. It's the fear that my limbs are gonna not work. It makes it happen because the more that you work on the therapy of, I understand that this thought is fucked up. It's not real. My body parts are not going to fall off. And you move through that uncomfortableness because the only way of having therapy is to live through it and not die, and then get up and do it the next day, live through it and not die, and then get up and do it all over again. Or a fucked up life. I know. But my brain is like, haha, this is anxiety, little drama queen. Needs to be listened to all the time. So yeah, my hands will stop working. I can't type. Do you know how hard it is to type when you can't feel your fingers? You don't, the letters were all messed up. It made no sense. So that's another thing, but there's a whole bunch of things that are somewhat linked together, but are just specific to the OCD. It's that fear, that paralyzing fear of, if you don't do this, you're going to die. Or your mom's going to die. Or your family is going to be swept away in a volcano. We don't fucking have volcanoes around here. Did I think about that when I was a younger kid? Yeah, all the time. Why? I don't know. It's just there. That's just the tip of really what OCD is. Unless your experience, if anything, my nose gets sweaty when I get anxious, and I have no idea if any of this even makes sense. I guess I'll know when I'm editing it, if I've forgotten something or whatever. I hope I don't have to do it again though, because I'm shaking like a leaf just thinking of all those things that I had to work through to get, and I can see the cat playing with the couch. It was hard and it was tough, and I was really ready to give up because I just couldn't see a way out of it. I was trying to, and again, until that whole medication thing kicked in, and I just don't have to answer to anybody, I guess. And the fact that, I didn't have anybody to talk to, nobody was there, they were all just doing their own thing, I think ended up being like a blessing in disguise, because I'm honestly, it's still bothering me with some things. I still work on it, but I'm the best that I've really ever been when it comes to levels of happiness and contentment with my life. I think the biggest on all that is like I'm not talking to anybody, so I don't have any friends. I don't hang out. I just stay in my house. I play on my PlayStation, which I started with Resident Evil 7. I don't know. I loved like Resident Evil 8. I played that one over and over again. But I'm doing that. I have my other activities like my puzzles and my makeup, and I keep busy and I enjoy what I'm doing, but I'm also not trying to impress anybody. I don't have to live up to anything. There's nobody there but me. There's nobody to just be like, well, that's kind of weird. There's nothing. Nobody gives a shit what I do all day. Which then gives me the freedom to do, like, the things that I need to do that sometimes don't really make any sense, except for me. Or, you know, anybody out there who's living through, like, anxiety and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't make sense. But if it works for you, it works for you, and you do that. And I'm here, I'm doing my thing. I don't, you know, nobody gives a crap. So, I'm happy, I guess. No, I am happy. That's for real. And I did gain a lot of weight because, again, I wasn't eating anything. So my therapist and I, we came to the agreement that as long as I'm eating something, it's better than nothing. Because I can't just live off cereal. I can't have gluten. I can't have this. I can't have all that other shit. But I ate it anyway. Because I ate the things that my brain would let me eat. Which usually meant something that I didn't have to cook. But I also got an air fryer for Christmas. So that was cool. That helped a lot. And I think it helps a lot because I can't physically see the element. I know it's there. Don't get me started. Whatever. It works. So I'm not complaining. But I ate like pretty crappy for my diet foods. Because I did not have to fight with my brain. So I just ate and I existed and I did the activities that for a 43-year-old person are probably like stupid. Like other people's, but the other people aren't present. So they're not there to make me feel judged. They're not there to make me feel stupid. I'm not trying to be something to someone. I'm not trying nothing. I'm just me to there. And that's been like the most freeing thing of all. Yeah, sure. Does it suck being alone? At times, but honestly, again, I've never had a holiday season that was like this positive, even though I'm still like struggling with some things, because the things that I do struggle with on a daily basis is nothing compared to the fact that I would just stand there for hours, where, you know, that you touch, you know it's there, and the second you start to lift your fingers off of it, your brain jumps in. It's like, are you sure? Yes. Are you? No. And then your logic mind and the anxiety mind, they just fight, and you're just kind of like there. You exist for your brain to argue with itself while you're paralyzed with fear and you can't move and do anything. So, I mean, I might have missed a whole bunch of stuff, but I also gotta stop before I bring some, like, undo some of the therapy that I've done. So if you have questions, like, ask. And this is, again, mostly just for the people on my Facebook that I went to school with, that have seen me my entire life, that were kind of wondering, like, why I was kind of maybe different and weird and held back, because I did have my 25-year high school reunion last summer. I'm old. Guess so, huh? But it's for them, but it's also for the people who have OCD. The people who are living through it and don't know how to explain it, or think that they're the only one that has those thoughts. You're not. And it's a lot more than just, I need to turn this stove off. I need to do that. It's a thought that is, if I don't do this thing, someone is going to die. And it is like that black and white of a thing. if it's not revolving around like extreme bodily harm and death and stuff like that, it's probably more on the side of like ADHD, or maybe like on the autism spectrum. You should still see a doctor for it, because it can 100% overtake your life. Again, intrusive thoughts are a thing, and they're annoying, and they suck. I've had them my entire life. But when it comes down to like OCD, there's like an extra part that I guess I'm going to say. The extra part that's hard to say is we have the whole... We literally feel like we have the fate of the world on our shoulders. Because if we don't do this, that's going to happen. And sometimes it's the dumbest thing. But there's also a part where we feel like people are judging our thoughts. Because our thoughts are just so loud and so overwhelming that we're pretty sure that everybody else can hear them too. Or they can just see it on our face. That they can somehow figure it out. That people can read our minds. And that kind of sounds like schizophrenia, but no. It's a fear. It's an anxiety thing of, if they can read my mind, bad things are going to happen. So I need to like obfuscate my thoughts. So when I was working, because I tried, sometimes I would have to like walk around and in my head go blah, 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 blah. So that in case somebody else heard my thoughts, they would know what I was really thinking and the bad things wouldn't happen. And I did that on a daily basis sometimes. Like, and then I also had to like think of my words, because my words usually come out backwards. And trying to explain to people, like, I mean this, but that's what I mean. Oops. It's just, I don't think, I'm never going to find anybody that's just going to freaking be like, yeah, cool, that's who you are. Cool beans. No. Which is fine. Again, I'm doing good. So, I guess I'm going to be okay. I don't know how to say it. Because I really don't want to, like, insult other people. But I don't have to fight to get my words out on a daily basis for them, the sentence structure to make sense. They know my mom understands me. My therapist understands me. They know what I'm trying to say. Do I panic in public? Yeah. Do I kind of look stupid? Fuck all the time. Yes. Do I care? No. Because I just want to live. I want to be able to go home and enjoy my time, because, I mean, my landlord's out to them. If they didn't exist, I would not be here. But I really love, like, the apartment, the layout, the way things are. I'm happy and content in my own space. I'm happy with the things that I'm doing. I'm happy with the progress of things that I'm doing. I'm starting to go to the Y again, like, next month in March. So, yeah, I gained weight, but hopefully I'll lose it again. But also, who cares? Nobody's looking at me. I mean, you want to judge me for being fat? Go for it. I got other things. I got worse things to deal with than the fact that you might think I'm fat. I don't give a fuck. But there's other people out there that just might not be at that stage. So this is for them. For the people that are struggling with those thoughts. Again, if you know anybody, just share it, I guess. Like, they're not the only person. There's a lot of people that go through this. Not as many as, like, anxiety or people that go through depression or whatnot. But it's a thing, and it's there. And it's just fear of stuff. And you're not crazy. You just, your brain is just hardwired on the wrong track. The solution is to talk with a psychiatrist. It has to be at a level of medication. Nothing wrong with taking medication. It allows me to live my life in a very, like, satisfactory way. I just don't... There's not really more that I can say, because it does vary between, like, people to person. What exactly are the compulsions and the fears, but it's really based on, I need to do this specific thing or else. And sometimes this specific thing is more, the more you let it fester there, the more things, plural, get added. But the or else part, which is your family dying, your mom dying, your pet. People that you care about being gravely injured. That fear just doesn't change. And you don't have to live. I mean, it's fucking horrible. I did not want to be here anymore. I didn't want to live with it because I didn't quite understand. Because I thought I had been through all of it. I thought I was over it, but it came back and kicked me in the butt. So that's a thing. I'm here though. I made it through and I'm here. I'm talking about it. It's hard and my anxiety is through the roof. I'm having a panic attack at the moment. I'm trying to just end this on a positive note of you can get through it. You can live a life worth living, and you know, you matter. And whether your anxiety is just anxiety and not based on OCD, that anxiety exists. You feel it. Don't let other people judge you. Don't let other people tell you, oh, it's just nothing. Just they're ignorant. It's their thing. And if you feel like you need to talk to someone, there's phone numbers. I'll have them like listed below that you can talk to. I have called them more than once just to be like, okay, these thoughts, they just won't stop. There's like a mobile crisis unit where they will come to your house and they'll sit down and they'll talk to you. They're trained in all that kind of stuff. And it does help, like asking for help, reaching out for help. There's nothing wrong with that. And I know that there's like a big, I don't know, makes you feel a certain way, or you might think that you're less than. Then just don't tell anybody. Reach out for help and don't tell nobody. You don't have to announce it on your banner of Facebook. Like, hey, guess what? You don't have to. You don't have to struggle publicly. You know, everybody has their own way of dealing with things, and you do what you need to do for your life to make sense to you. And if that means not having anybody around, that's it. I mean, I thought my entire life that I was like a social person and that I needed to have friends, I needed to have people around me. And I've never been happier without them. So there you go. That's a thing. I don't want to say this was the quality of things, because pretty cool people out there. But regardless, I'm happy. I'm good. Things are going well. I'm progressing with my life. And I'm just being a better version of myself every single day, which is all you can do. Don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to you in the past. It takes time. Like, give yourself some credit for how far you've come. And other than that, I mean, you got questions you can ask. If this didn't quite make sense, let me know and I'll maybe do it. I'm not doing it again. I'll just take it down. But with all that, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to Anik. You're the one that really gave me the idea and the strength to do this. So after, for those of you who don't know, she was like my first friend, that from like school and since like kindergarten. So, and we kind of lost touch and saw each other again at the high school reunion. So thankful for everybody that is in my life, whether you're here on the outskirts or a little bit or there. If you were in my life and you're gone, I guess maybe thank you for the times you were there. I don't know. Don't want to get into that. But just don't give up and don't compare yourself to other people. Everybody lies. Everybody shows you what they want you to see. So just compare you to you and be the best you that you can be in whatever capacity that is, because it's your life and you can live it for you.